Makerera abana bakubagaine. Itendekero lyatuuka.
That's not business school.
Yeah,
that is Makerera.
I'm looking at the other one. You know, they share something in common. Batuuka okuba nti okulonda kuba online. However, that's not the point. Emiwendo gy'ebintu egyeyongera okuniina and kyava ku state y'economy eriwo n'emmere yaniina. Kiyinza okuba nga tuneekisooka tuno mulundi ogusooka tiikiyaka ino nti emmere eniinye but kuno kiri a bit worse nti abantu tibakasobola kugula mmere tibakasobola kubaawo nti embeera y'abasooka catastrophic nti n'ensi eyashaida n'akasana kona kaayaka n'abantu abalima emmere yona badde magifuna oba outinga nti gye tugule nga yona tegulika kati n'eri ebitundu nga n'abalina esente n'emmere ezirayo. Gavumenti nga batiyama mu cabinet y'abaminisita bakuba nti katufune ku empiya obuwumbi 135 tulandikire kubeekala moja kubanga bo basooka bakubendulu ati ffe eno tuli kufa over 40 people bakafa ndala. Parliament yakobye nti bana mugulwanga mwaguti ya misa it's a soga word meaning don't do it. Ebyo byemuli kukola mujagaba mmere mu kodi sente buwumbi 135 tibiri jakola. Abandi nga bali kulifalingira ku the COVID-19 relief ngeri yeshakolebwamu nti tikyali successful but government watamu sentence. Kuluno government ikoba to bailing out katukozesa twene ekigambo ku bailing out endala beriruma nga tukale kujja ku parliament yedde emyo bayikiriza. Could it be the best solution now to Ugandans are crying of hunger and they can't buy food? Then the government said, let us collect money and we buy food.
There is a saying in English, once bitten, twice shy. We had it during COVID. We needed food. There was a scheme of collecting money, which money was used to be able to go to buy food and distribute the food. I never got the food. I don't know, maybe you got the food.
And they couldn't have given you food because you seem not to be so needy.
Why? What shows? What is the meter that measures neediness in this economy? We were all under restriction of movement. I remember the else anyway. I understand the general perception, because when I tried to ask the LC1 chairman, he told me you stay in a gate. We can't give food to a person who stays in a gate, which is very slow thinking. But the point is, you can die in the gate because of hunger. But the point is, we have seen it before, in which the distribution of food. Let me be this blunt. This government, the government we have in Uganda, is incapable, and I can repeat it even anywhere, is incapable of supplying and distributing any commodities, including goods, to any Ugandans and manage it in a smooth way. They can't. So it's something that they should divest themselves out of. The best they can do at the moment, given the economic conditions we're in, is for them to do subsidies like what other countries are doing. Right now, Rwanda and Kenya, they are doing subsidies to the basic commodities that would make people, even if you have 500 shillings Uganda, 500 only, you can at least ogure mwemboli. But the thing is, they are thinking of grand. We are going to go and buy rice, buy and distribute. How many people in Uganda? Karamoja alone, they have failed. You just said that 40 people have died. Have you seen the scale of the hunger, the malnourished people that are in Karamoja at the moment? If we can't manage only Karamoja, how do you manage the whole the economy of 43 million? If we agree that those are the true figures of, are they now, Bonnie, do we still say that we are 43, depending on whether we want to be middle income or not?
We are around 45 million Ugandans. So,
but that figure keeps changing depending on whether we are doing the calculation for being middle income or not.
Now this man is bringing the middle income something.
But you understand the drift. The drift is that they should deal with other
options.
Yes, options of making sure that people can get relief.
What would be those options?
The option, like I tell you, that for example, subsidies. What is affecting is that you might be having matoke in Mbarara or in Tungamo. The sun might have affected them, but they have matoke. But the transportation of that matoke from Mbarara to Kamuli is a problem because the fuel, today I just seen it's about 3,370 a litre of petrol. If you subside and say that, okay, we are going to lose, we are not going to pay the taxes that we do on the fuel, because every litre of fuel that you buy the government is getting a tax. If we said that, okay, let's reduce on tax, instead of getting 100% on that tax, we get only 50%. Then you reduce and the fuel goes to 4,000. The cost of a matoke from Isinjiro to Kamuli is going to reduce at least by a certain percentage that can allow, even if it's a family collection, we say we buy only one bunch of matoke, we're 2 families, at least they'll have 1 meal. So those are the basic economics they should be dealing in, instead of going, we are going to, no, that doesn't work at the current.
Boni,
Yes, sir.
you are the economist abawabula abantu and nali ndi wano olunti n'ondi kumbaka parliament yakuba ndi president ali kuwabulwa by economist abana byanfuna akola decision very economic and scientific. Government okuba ntusonde sente tubeiringa awo tu abantu abali obubi. Nze ndowooza nti siyinza okuyambako kubanga it is a short term solution. Dani okulowooza tusale emisolo tukole tuti we tunaalowookezanga tutyame tukole omuntu aba ajja kufa. Bona akoba nti it's not okay.
Mr. Nkunda akoba nti it's not okay, and he has reasons, very underlying reasons behind that sum. But he turns the the background of this economy called Uganda. You are a government that is in a situation where you have inflation, food inflation, first of all, you fail to control. You have problems of corruption that you fail to control. You have unemployment among youth. You have issues to do with the poor urbanization systems and what have you. So many things that go. You have now climate change where you don't have any contribution as a government, but you must deal with it. So what do you need to do, Sam, right now? Sam, today we saw this. Government locked down people and they said we are going to give either cash transfers or money, rather food in Kampala Metropolitan. I don't want to go into that debate. You saw what happened. Mr. Nkunda didn't get food because he has a gate.
Did you get?
I didn't get because they didn't even reach. I sleep in Imbarwa there and they didn't reach us. I think they said Imbarwa is the place for Ave Sobola. I think at Sobola, But what am I trying to say? If you say that now the problem of crop failure or agriculture failure where you have inflation and now you have a region called Karamoja of around 1 million people, half of them going to starve or even dying of hunger, and then you flag off some trucks of food to go and give them. First of all, Olijaba wa kilos maker. How many, is it even sustainable? Yes, it could be the short term, and we could be some talking about symptoms, but let's go to the causes. How often, actually, till when should the government continue saying we are going to come in with food relief, even when we are not at war? Such things are done maybe when we are having a state of emergency, like war. But where you claim and pride in being a food basket, Sam, you need to build food distribution systems in the country.
True.
Sam, you need to empower people in Sinjura and Soro, where Mr. Nkunda comes. Invest in them. At the time, Mr. Nkunda, sometime when we had just come here to start debating these things, and you say, no, it is okay. You need to empower people in Kisoro. What are they doing? Can they grow? Can you preserve the food and store? You know, and when you're dealing with a crisis, you don't know when it will hit. And some, let me tell you, the Karamoja question, and not only Karamoja, can we say the government has failed? So,
as this?
Yes, because it's not going to be sustainable, Sam, because first of all, where are they going to buy food from?
But this man, Gavumenti, the subsidies and no kusala kumisolo, because that has been the debate. It is the cost of living and other factors in production. But Sidiot government and Sidiot because when I speak about the government, I may be a bit genuine. When you speak to those government officials, they say the final man. We need some.
Who? The president?
The president.
But that's the problem. That's the problem.
Short term.
No, that's the problem.
You see some, where we need, you know, someone who may say, yes, if Ndala, the hunger has hit, there is a ministry in charge of disaster preparedness and what. they must give food to those people. We are not saying that they should not give them food. But Sam, what if Isinji, what if Ibanda and maybe Kamuli or also in the near future they are hard hit? What is going to be the fallback plan? That's what we are saying. And even when people legislate on floor of parliament, we need to go into things, and let's benchmark some. This is not rocket science. We've been in this country since lockdown where we had best weathers. Food was here.
Yes, too much actually.
Too much. Now, I don't know who forecast for this government. You're saying that me or Mr. Nkunda or the economists that advise the government, this is, I mean, no man or muta sobolo kuchibona. What do we need to do? Sam, in best season, let's prepare for the worst. Let us not have money and now see that things are doing well and we don't foretell what may happen. Karamoja is crying. Kamuli, they don't have food. Right now, a kilogram of posho is 4,000. The half kilo is 2,000. Some people don't afford that. And that is just 1 meal a day. They may not even afford that. Food relief is very okay. But I would also buy in partly on the issue of subsidies. Because now there are regions which are doing very well. Hunger is not everywhere. But because they know that food is much needed somewhere, they are going to inflate the prices. And those people will not buy. So government coming in to intervene and regulate and probably subsidize some of the things that we do here. It is very good. And very applicable. Because they were saying they couldn't subsidize on fuel, which they are importing. Now you subsidize on food, which we are growing here, so that people don't die. Nearby Jugula, if you check the procurement processes, they may be buying that posho at 5,000.
A kilo.
A kilo. Because of the, you know, shortage deals, you know how Ugandans are, and then people in, you know, in management and that. But in a nutshell, what are we trying to say, Sam? As the government, you need to sit back and don't just think that things are okay. There are situations where we are going to be hard hit. Save us for COVID. That was global and we used to get aid. We don't even know how much was used in bailing out people. But now, the Karamoja sub-region, I don't know whether you know how many people are suffering, Sam. You may be saying 40 people have died. Those are the records that you know. But you go to Napak, you go to Kabong, you go to Moroto, you go to Nakapiripiriti, you go to Abim. People don't even see food. Okay, those are the people that are in our age and what. You just go and see the state of malnutrition in the kids of such areas. So, and Sam, when you see anger attacking such places, it has a ripple effect on everything. They are not going to school, health is distorted, and so many things. So, lastly, government subsidize food if you can. In the short term, if you can buy food relief and give to people, it's okay, but it's not sustainable. I call upon everyone, ministries, agencies that plan for this country, go back to the drawing board and see. We have food basket. We even prayed in it.
That's
but we are crying.
Nga wendi kwogera sawa nno oyinza okuba nga olirowooza nti tuli kwa Bakalamoja wonka. Abantu bangi bali eyo nga endala eri baluma n'abantu abandi obulwere buli baluma kubanga tubakasibwa kujja amadwaliro. Amadwaliro aga gavumenti galina issues. So amadwaliro ga private gayongeza emiwendo. So omuntu abanga amadwaliro ga private gayongeza emiwendo nga ne wa boda yamuvugiranga ku lukumi omutwala wale kadwaliro ali mu kuba nti ndikwenda 13,000. So you find it, life but now is a puzzle. Mukaira kafaano nti ni kanu. Abantu ba planningira nga abesongesha National Planning Authority. Na time advising aba deciding ira iwanga. Because mu planningira aba deciding ira iwanga wabanga bakaba wolirisa mu deciding ira iwanga. Era government yakuba nti mukaira kafaano nti kana eri jashamule sente. It's going to allocate a lot of money. Agricultural production kubanga butisayo no kiringa ne kiri urgent nabaye ndi kubona report ya Minister of Finance ni National Planning Authority nga bakuba nti COVID-19 yakosa goals eda NDP3 so bali jato lesson to ministry regional single kodi kulima ngudo kodi kulima bichi ebye bindi babite mu agriculture couldn't be that one a solution, a long lasting solution now for this situation?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
You see, when my very good friend and the Katukiro of Busoga, Dr. Muvawala, did his projections under the National Planning Authority, I think theirs is to plan, theirs is to predict, theirs is to be able to give you a guideline of understanding and saying that, you know what, if you do the following things, if you follow the following pattern, you will be able to achieve what you have to do as a nation. The goals by which, the tenets of the things that you want to achieve as a planning. But the execution of that national planning is not done by the National Planning Authority. Their work is to plan and hand over, and other people are supposed to implement. Now, if we are going to go by the standards, which is some, the question you're asking, that we can be able to reduce from the various agencies that we're working with, those agencies, they made their own budgets, right? I'm certainly sure that the Ministry of Agriculture made its own budgets for the year. I'm sure that the National Road Authority made its own, that the different ministries made, the one my brother Bonnie spoke of, the Minister of Disaster Preparedness. It must have planned and looked at various scenarios of saying what is the likelihood. It must be able to relate with what is happening with the meteorological department of saying, are we expecting some rains in 2022? No, maybe July is going to be very dry, so that you plan using that. But are they coordinated? My fear, and this is a personal fear, I don't know whether Bonnie agrees, is that there is no central coordination of an understanding and being able to have one grid and having one picture about what is happening to the economy. Being it the climate, how about someone looking at the climate, about the changes, about the price changes, about the world affairs? Did we predict that? Did we have a sense if, for example, there was a war that was going to happen in Ukraine and we're not going to have prices of fuel change, prices of wheat change, we have less inputs for production of certain things like soap. I think one of the most expensive things currently is soap. So is there someone who plans? Apparently what we have is a disjointed process of managing an economy. And when you have it in that way, and that's why when I saw my good friend Ramadhani Gobi, I think you are the current Secretary of Treasury coming in, a man of practical things that he would speak about and you say, oh, that makes sense. I think that he hasn't yet been able to be given the gravitas that he needs for him to be able to implement certain things that can be able to tell and coordinate what agriculture thinks, what veterinary thinks, what Ministry of Disasters thinks, what the Youth Ministry thinks, what the Women Affairs thinks, Ministry of Health, so that we have a coherent understanding, so that the implementation of the national planning, the third national planning system that was put in place can be able to make sense, and we can avoid all the things, the hiccups that we have.
I remember he did prophesy, he prophesied prophecies that are not becoming in reality. Because in June he said in July, most of the necessities and the commodities are going to fall in place, and the change is not felt up to now. That's Ramadan Gobi. The prophecy is no longer now coming.
Well, it's good it's a prophecy. Prophecies are supposed to be either doom's prophecy or they're supposed to be hope. So if it's a hopeless prophecy, then it's hopeless. We're not going to have it.
Bonnie.
Yes, please.
Tulijakyusa sente. Tudite mu byobulimi. Kyokoba ebyobulimi tibidi sente de byali byetaaga. Nti twetaaga bongera sente. Oba mu allocation eya budget ife buli kaseera tukibonanga tikyamugaso ino. Ayo omugaso wegwiddamu olwo twakapa tutoola awandi esente tuteewo.
This year's financial year budget is a program-based budget. They did program-based budgeting instead of sectoral budgeting. And what does that mean? You see, in Uganda, I don't know whether we are just taken up by events. Agriculture has been having one major problem, I think, since I was born, and that is production. There is no production in this country.
What do we do? What we produce is not production.
What we produce, what I'm meaning as production, what we produce as a country called Uganda, it is either, you know, the president talks about it so much, kida kyonka, subsistence. And that's where the problem has come. Now, we don't want to say we are going to pick all the money wherever it is to put in agriculture to do what? Is it to spur production? and what are the needs of that. Omuntu ali yali kutuwuliriza alina okutegeera kino ekintu Sam. Agriculture, we should not even pride so much in it. If government for the last years that it has been there talking about agriculture, agro-industrialization has failed to do the following. Sam, if government really had a passion to improve agriculture, before even they pick the money, what could have been the issues to be done? We have the best fresh waters, not any, like in Africa or in the world, we have the best freshwater bodies in the whole world, lying idle. And the problem is that we have what we call agriculture-fed kind of production systems, where we, rather rain-fed, where we pray to God to give us rains. But we don't have the capacity to pump waters from Lake Choga, Yaife, Kamlioga, Pampinga, to go to big farms where production can be sustainable the entire year. I don't agree with getting all the money and put in agriculture if we are not going that way. And if we are not living subsistence economy, where there is no, even if you go to the parish levels, in my village alone, the GDP of my village is zero because no one produces for commercial. Everyone produces to eat. If I take a function in my home village and we want the local people to supply, no one can supply chicken in big numbers, no one can supply milk, no one can supply eggs, no one can supply matoke. We buy them in Kamuli town if we have a big party. So that's the agriculture you want now to improve. So if you're going to improve the agriculture now, earmark people like this Masinkunda who have big farms, sustainably support them, get irrigation systems, make infrastructure very, very robust for them to add value, and then make sure the culture will be. Because on the farm is going to create jobs, is going to definitely grow much, and even we shall have export. But if you're going to invest in this agriculture, here people are eating cassava, raw maize, and now you want to kill all other avenues of investing in other sectors to agriculture, that's not going to work. And another worry in agriculture, Sam, government needs to come and regulate a person called a middleman. Farmers have been tilling the land for the last 100 years, and they have remained the poorest of the poor.
That is just planning. It is farmers that are attracting those middlemen. It is not the middlemen that are clinging on farmers. You find a farmer who can add value in what he or she is doing. But so somebody just stays there and think, Kunda will come and buy this matoke. Kunda will come. Somebody can't think that, how can I take this to myself to the market? Where is the market? You need to build market. You need to link farmers to market now first. The farmers are producing food and the community is hungry and you ask for market. Sam, let me give you a scenario of a typical farmer in my area, and I know he resonates with yours. This is a farmer with a small hut in Buterimire village where I come from. He goes, tills 6 acres of maize, he keeps it, and then after harvest, prices go low at 200 shillings per kilo. This man says he's going to keep the maize until maybe prices a bit go high. After 6 months, he has no storage systems, so he's going to lose much into post-harvest. You get? Kati, after there, prices get high. When he goes to check his maize in a small store in the hut, it has already been eaten up by kawukumi. By rats. By rats and everything. So prices on the market, they are not going to even look at him. They are going to tell him, you see, the quality of the maize takes you back again to the 200 shilling. So this is a farmer that he got good production, but prices that time were low. So he kept the maize. Because of poor storages at the village levels, he is keeping it, getting bad, goes to market again when market prices are a bit okay at 1,000, and still balimu amwe nusubisat all quality ya duma. So some that's the cut that season he gets very annoyed. He doesn't go back to grow. There is a big demand because there is limited supply because Nkunda has not grown, and the cycle moves like that. What are we trying to say, Sam? If you sustainably invest these farmers, build market systems, build food distribution systems, regulate prices, set up good agro value chains and value addition systems at the village level. Tulikulali. When shall we grow? Okay. Why do you think farmers baloza nchakataleka likampala yonka? So that is the problem. So the issue of agriculture in this country is about production. Government, if you're going to get money and invest in agriculture, please do the following. Profile big farmers like Nkunda and Sam who has big farms.
Tell them what they want, ask them what they want. They want irrigation systems, they want tractor and mechanization, they want value addition system. Please.
They want a market.
They want market. They want robust information from meteorological authority to forecast the weather and sell. Create for them markets abroad and in the region. There you shall talk. But if you're going to invest in a one born in Buterimide, you're wasting time.
Okay.
And that money will be stolen.
Okay. If you are going to invest in a local farmer, and that's where parish development model is coming, to invest in the local farmer, it means the government is hitting on a hard rock.
What is the parish model? Parish model is a failure of the rest of the other problems that they have.
I've not tested it, Kunda. Why do you?
I can read it. I can read it. I have seen the Operation Wealth Creation. I have seen Bonaba Gawale. I have seen the what is it called? Emyoga. What have I? What new thing I tell you?
You have read. But have you been a client of them? Have you?
I don't have to be a client.
Have you got
I know the process. I know the process. They are supposed to send parish model. They are supposed to send 100 million to the Muluka chief. The Muluka chief, they are supposed to set themselves up into a circle. A circle, we know the operations of. Circle, it's the same thing. Someone is just going to misuse that money. Who is going to distribute that money? The Muluka chief is what? What if you are a member of the opposition of a different political party? Would you get that money?
It is all about development. It's not politics.
You see, the parish development model is entirely on agriculture because 80% of Ugandans live in rural areas. So when Nkunda tells you that, it's very right. 80% of the population that is targeted in parish development is going to go into agriculture. Because that's the
main. And those are the
thing.
local people you're saying that if the government is investing in them, it's investing on a hard rock.
You see, do you know why I'm saying it's a hard rock? This man, even the land, first of all, it's fragmented. So these guys need to be educated on how do you even get high yields on a smaller farm. If some things are not going to be done, these guys are going to look at his tired piece of land. This land has been tilled for the last 200 years. He just inherited it from the ancestors. It has no manure, it has no fertilization and what? So, fertilizer application and what? So you want now to give him money and he goes and plants what? Cabbage and what? He's going to lose. He's not going to earn anything. So teach them the innovations in agriculture, give them high yielding inputs and weather resistant crops or seeds. Tell them, advise them. But if you're just going to give them 100 million, it's not going to work.
And people, it's a cash bonanza. Getting money, giving Ugandans money, and you're telling them that you are going to do agriculture. When people can get that money and use it to buy...
There is even an equalizer of hunger and dry spell you're talking about, and inflation. Are they going to keep the money in the pocket and go to grow? They're going to eat it.
That's Ika Dimpoideku. Tulina okubatenga tumaliriza kusaawa yene eno ndija abasaba tusibwe just within seconds. Bon, you are giving us an equation whereby we can't continue.
Abali kutubona ku Baba TV. Sam, thank you so much for this opportunity. Government of Uganda, when we come here as a fourth estate to talk about these things, they should be listening. I think you should be making an extract of what we've said, probably to send them. Those ones who go to gallery or on floor parliament, please, muwulirizenga ebintu otini bino to be able to build our country. What do we need as a country? Let's invest in people, Sam. A productive population supports its government. A less productive population, in public sector economics, there is what we call, there is a term we use. Ugandan government has created itself where it is about to swallow the citizens.
Thank you.
Exactly.
No, I think it's good that we can be able to debate these things, and I'm hoping that the viewers and the listeners of Baba TV would be able to discern and say that we mean well. We don't mean anything wrong about what the government is trying to do, but we're trying to make sure that the things they do, they make sense for our people. Otherwise, when they are done in boardrooms and they don't reflect on what happens on the ground and our people are hungry and people are dying, we feel bad and we want those anomalies to be corrected.
Ninze sama mwesigwa nenda kubeyanza okuva gyotandikire paka n'essaawa eno bwe tunaaba ate nga tuyizemu tudda kuba ate nga twogera. Latayise bukyabazinga wabusoga.